Hello everyone, welcome to the form filling video for Ashoka University. They have started with their application on the 10th of October. Okay, so all you students who are looking forward to fill the Ashoka application form, firstly, don't be in a hurry. It is not an application which you want to fill in a hurry. Take your time. Though you are if you are even possibly targeting some other deadline, just make sure that you have your time when you are starting with the application. It's a little lengthy form. We will take one step at a time, and I would tell you all the details you need to know for the application. Okay, so let's start. We would also be providing you with the text guidelines in the description and the application link, so you would be able to follow it to fill the application form. Okay, so here we are with the Ashoka application. Here is the link what we have mentioned. It will be mentioned in the description as well. Now, just to give you a little heads up, it is something which is there on the Ashoka website itself. The round is started on the 10th of October and the first round will be ending on the 27th of November. It is definitely a good time provided to you to make sure that you keep the whole form ready and it's filled in the right manner. Once you submit the application before 27th of November, the assessment, which is the Ashoka aptitude test, will be conducted on the 8th of December, and post that you would be getting calls for the personal interview. Okay, by 27th of January 2025, if you are selected, you will be sent the emails for the decision. Simultaneously, the round 2 will be ending on the 15th of January and the round 3 will be ending on the 25th of April 2025. Okay, the schedule is available on the Ashoka University website itself. Okay, now let's look at some important information while you're filling the form. Okay, there is no application fee, which is a good part. A lot of students kind of get a little worried, but don't have to. There is no application fee for Ashoka University application form. Application form should be filled only in the English language. I think it is very self-explanatory. Only one application can be submitted per admission cycle, and that is where you need to be careful. So whatever information you are putting, whatever essays you are writing, make sure you follow the guidelines and take your time and do not really fill the application in haste. Be prepared. Participation in mandatory is so Ashoka aptitude test, which would be conducted, it is mandatory. For the assessment is required in the round corresponding to your submission, which means that whenever you are submitting your application, be it any round deadline 1, 2 or 3, Ashoka aptitude test will be mandatory for all of them, irrespective if you are you are uploading your SAT scores or ACT scores. Ashoka aptitude test is mandatory. Failure to participate in assessment will annul your application. So if you're not attempting or if you're not appearing for the assessment, your application will not be considered. The major selected in the course preference section are indicative and not binding. Students declare their major by the end of the third semester. So this is something which I keep on mentioning, that whenever you are filling a form for liberal studies universities, the major minor preferences, again we are mentioning the word preferences, it's not going to be binding you. Okay, so if you're not too sure of whether which major or minor you want to go for, whatever your closest inclination is, just make sure you are updating that in the preference list. Read discipline specific policies carefully before indicating major preferences. There are certain certain guidelines which you have to keep in mind, so just make sure that you're going through that. Application not meeting Ashoka University's eligibility criteria will not be shortlisted for interviews. Ineligibility criteria include, now there are certain criteria you have to keep in mind. First is submission of more than one application form in one admission cycle. So do not try the trick of submitting the application with 2 different email addresses. That will not be accepted. You will get caught and eventually your application itself will not be accepted. Mispresentation of information in the application or interview, plagiarized content in the application. If there is any information which you are possibly copying from somewhere, be it your essay or somewhere, there is a very high chances of your application which is being cancelled. So be very careful. Be when you're doing the form, do it ethically. Okay. Important information, more important information. Incomplete application may not be processed in the intended round, and application is incomplete. So in case, what will be terming as an incomplete application? There are a lot of times in the application where you will have to upload a lot of documents. So make sure you're uploading the right document, okay? So invalid or ineligible government IDs provided. So make sure that, you are uploading, if it's an Aadhaar card, make sure that you're uploading the right document. If it's an Aadhaar card, so whenever they're looking out for a government document, your mark sheets, just make sure that you have the right one. Now, a very quick tip for it. Whenever you are uploading or saving these documents on your laptop, just to make sure that you're uploading the right one, upload the, for example, it's Aadhaar card. Okay, so mention Aadhaar card and then mention your name. Okay, it kind of assures that it is an Aadhaar card and the Aadhaar card is for a particular student and the name of the student is mentioned. It is easier for the university and it is easier for you as well. So always save the document with the name of the document and your name. It is easier. Score discrepancies between mark sheets and manually entered scores. When even you are updating your scores, be very careful. Make sure that you are double checking your score. Make sure that once you have filled your form, somebody else is also running through the original documents and the numbers mentioned in the form. Password protected mandatory attachments. Do not give any password protected attachments. Just make sure that it's a normal PDF what is going there. Illegal class 10th and 12th mark sheets, screenshots of unverified result, DigiLocker verified mark sheets are accepted. For IB and Cambridge A-level applicants, missing self-predicted grades or school counselor details. Now, this is specifically for IB and A-levels because IB and A-levels will definitely get the predictive scores from their, schools and colleges. Also, the counselor details are mandatory there. For other boards, missing self-predicted or school-predicted grades. Now, self-predicted grades, as the name itself mentioned, it is self-predicted. You will be able to predict yourself and the information also would be provided. Providing false information may result in cancellation of your application or withdrawal of an offer of admission. Now, in case if there is an offer provided to you, even that will be revoked. So, be careful. Quickly, the documents what you will be required for filling the Ashoka application form. Firstly, your photograph. The photograph has to be a proper passport size photograph. Don't upload selfies. It doesn't look professional. Okay, and the photograph has to be in JPEG, JPG and PNG. The formal, as I mentioned, a formal passport size photo, preferably in white background. No, glares and goggles and cap is allowed. Just make sure it's a proper photograph. Image format, as I mentioned earlier, the minimum dimensions has to be 350 pixels width and 350 pixel height. The maximum is 1000 pixels. So make sure that it is there in case if you need help with anything. There will be in description information mentioned how you would be able to edit it. Okay, a government ID, when we mention government ID, we are talking about a PAN card or an Aadhaar card or anything which is government approved. That would be the government ID. 10th and 11th mark sheet and 12th predictive scores if you have and if your colleges or school is providing you. Transcript in support of class 10th, 11th and 12th, as I did mention earlier. Transcript test score sheet in support of SAT and ACT scores. Certificate collateral for online courses, research papers, honors. So basically any activity which you are showing up in the Ashoka application form, be it an activity which is a sport or or an online program, internship, make sure it is supported with a right document. Okay, with that, in case if you are a domicile, because there is a section where they are asking about their domicile certificates. If you are clicking it yes, make sure you're also supporting it with the domicile certificate. In case if there is any kind of a health issue, if you are if you are claiming that there is a mental health issue or a physical physically abled students, if you are selecting any of these information, make sure that you have proper documents to support it because application will require. Let's start with the application. So this is what exactly the registration would look like. Okay, you register. Once you click on the registration link, you will have to upload all the details starting from your name, your middle name, your last name, your email address, which board you are from, which standard you are in, what are your preferences, and this will be auto populate, so you will not be really filling it again. So make sure that you are very clear. Again, one pro tip, whichever email address you are updating, make sure you're checking it and it's something which you use a lot, because a lot of communication will be sent to you on the email. Okay. You will also be mentioning your address, you will also be mentioning the city, the country. All the details will be uploaded. Once you upload this, you click on this particular part as I agree to receive information, and you click register. Once you register, it will ask you to update your email address, and there will be a verification done on your email address where a OTP will be sent. Once you upload your OTP, you will be allowed in the form. This is going to be your dashboard. Okay, this particular dashboard will give you information. This is your application number, which is 0102025 10028. That becomes my application number. Okay. This is the continue part, will show you what percentage of the form is being filled. So it will give you an understanding of how much is pending. Okay. Once you click on continue, which is the blue button here, you come to the first section. Now there are multiple sections, as you can see here: admission policies, general instructions. There are a lot of information. Once you enter the form, you will get the admission policies, the information which I have already read out to you just now. Okay. Once you do the next, it will give you the information for your personal and contact details. Now what would that be? It is the same information what you have ideally filled in the registration, which is your first name, your middle name, your last name, gender, preferred gender pronouns. In just in case if students are not aware, preferred gender pronouns would be he, she, her. Okay, so and for a boy it will be he, his. Okay. Nationality, again a photograph which we were talking about, the government ID what we spoke about, and if you are a domicile of Haryana, right? If you're domicile of Haryana. Okay, so if it is yes, you will have to upload your photograph, as in the certificate, domicile certificate. You will be uploading your blood group here. Once you upload the complete information, then you upload your correspondence address, the information which will be sent to you on the correspondence, so just mention your correspondence address. If it is permanent address, there will be a radio button here of yes or no. If it is yes, click yes, and then if it is no, click no and update the permanent address. Details of your guardian, which is your parent or the guardian, you need to mention the details: first name, last name, the date of birth of your guardian, the relationship with your candidates. If it's your guardian, you need to understand and you need to mention from the drop down what exactly the relation is. The guardian contact details, the highest level of education, and the employment category. This drop down is pretty self-explanatory, so you just need to select the right one which suits you. Also, there will be a little 50-word write-up which you will have to give, which will provide further details about your parents or guardians' occupation, including the position and the brief description. So in this, a quick pro tip is check with your parents, whoever the guardian is, whom you're kind of giving the details about. Mention them, ask them that this is the information, okay, and I would require a 50-word write-up about what exactly your job role is. It possibly a little bit of job description, okay, and that would be enough. Just make sure before you are uploading it is grammatically correct, okay. Next, we put about the details for the second guardian or the second parent. Information would remain the same, but again a write-up would be provided. Then we talk about siblings. In case if you have siblings, if it is no, it will not give you any information, but if it is yes, it would ask you the details of the sibling. In case if you have an elder brother, younger brother, sister, mention the information in the form. Then we talk about the academic. So now after the personal details, we move to the academic information. The academic information would ask you for your 10th board, which state or city or the union territory your school is in, the year of completion, and then it will ask you to upload your 10th mark sheet. Then it will ask you your 11th mark sheet with the numbers, okay, the same thing which will happen for 10th, where you will have to upload your marks. Same thing which would happen for 11th, where you will have to mention the subjects you have opted for in the 11th, the marks you have got, and what it was out of. So for example, you have scored, let's say, if it is a CGPA or if it is out of what you have, scored that kind of marks. So it is out of 100, just mention 100 here. For 12th, it would again be the same way. You mention your board, the school, the year of completion of 12th. In a lot of students' cases, it's going to be 2025 because next year is when you complete your 12th. And you upload here your 12th mark sheet. A lot of you would not have your 12th mark sheet because exam nahi diya hai. Right? In this case, predictive scores is what you would be kind of uploading here. Predictive scores would ideally get, you would be able to self-predict it, understand what exactly your 12th is looking like and what you think you would be able to achieve or what other marks you feel you would be able to get. Okay, you would be able to predict it that way. If you have taken a gap here, in case if you are a student who have possibly after 11th taken a drop and then started 12th, then you will be, or if you are a student who must have completed or who would have completed their 12th in 2023 and 24 has been a gap year for them, then you will have to mention the details here. If you are enrolled in a college or a university, that's what you mention. If it is yes, then the details would be required. No attachment required. Now, that's where the key is. If you are self-predicting it, you don't have to give any attachment for self-predictive scores. This for school predicted score grades, attach mark sheet. If mark sheet is unavailable, attach an official letter issued by your school listing your scores and grades. For a lot of students, you would be able to ask this from your school. School will be able to help you out and provide you with it. Okay. Use this space to list additional information related to your academic journeys in case if there is any recognition awards which you have received, make sure you utilize this space and you provide the information to them. Okay, any awards, any competitions you have won, any achievements in terms of your projects, make sure it's a 100-word space. It will give you good you can definitely upload good information there about your achievements. Please indicative if you have studied class. So in case if you're a student who have opted for maths in 11th or 12th standard, then this is something what you will have to do, yes or no, depending upon what marks you have ideally or what subject you have opted for in 11th and 12th. If it is maths, make sure this particular section goes as yes. Post that, we are looking at the standardized marks. A lot of students, if you have or taken ACT or SAT, then you will be uploading it here. I have clicked as no, but in case if it is yes for you, it will ask you to upload the mark sheet with the marks. So make sure you are uploading the correct information there. CUET students, it will not be applicable for you. So here it would go as no. If you intend to participate in the upcoming, also for students in case if you're planning to appear for CUET, it will ask you to upload, there's a radio button which will ask you to do yes or no. Just select the right option and select yes or no. But make sure that if you are, uploading your ACT or if you're kind of, declaring that you have appeared for SAT and ACT, you have the right mark sheet for it and the marks. Once you once you declare for your SAT scores, it will ask you which, college board registered email ID, date of the most recent test which you have taken and the marks which you have got with the mark sheet what you have uploaded. As I told you earlier, same thing which will be asked for the ACT and for CUET. Now let's look at the non-academic scores. Now if you look at this particular form, there are 3 activities what you would be able to highlight. Okay, so you will have to use this section to make sure that you are highlighting any leadership role, any non-academic awards, anything which you have achieved on a state level, international level, national level. Make sure it is highlighted there. Your internships, your work with any NGO. This is the space where it will get highlighted. Try to highlight what you have learned from these activities, because there will be a little write-up which will be provided to you. Again, a 100-word space provided to you to showcase what you learned from that particular activity. So there will be 3 activities which you can mention with the proper certificates what you must have achieved with it. So my suggestion would be, if you have achieved something internationally, start with that. If you have done something for a longer duration of time and done well in it, make sure you're also mentioning that as well. You can always speak to a counselor or any mentor who would be able to guide you how you would be able to align it. This is the second and the third activity. This is how the whole page would look like. This is the section where Ashoka wants to understand whether you are a reader. Okay, so if there are any books you have read, make sure you're uploading the name of the book. So you can, you can kind of list many books here just by clicking a more button here. Okay. However, if you can remember three, just mention three and mention the name of the author. Okay. This is the section for essays, okay, the most loved section by students. Ashoka essays have always been, very different and very, very introspective. And this year again, they have very introspective essays. The first two essay, which is normally a 400-word essay, they have given the option. So either you can write topic A or topic B, okay. Either of the topics you can write, and then after either of the topic is written, there will be a second essay which is for 150 worder. Either of the, whenever you're writing it, again when you're writing the essay, understand, make sure that it is personalized, and make sure that it is reflecting your personality and it is grammarly correct. It is not shabby. Okay. Letter of recommendation. So all of you who is always worried about like letter of recommendation, it is not mandatory, but it is always nice to upload the details. So if you want to submit your letter of recommendation, you will be updating it as yes, and you will be providing these details for the, again, letter of recommendation is not something which you will have to submit in a physical letterhead. This is something which is, a lot of questions which has been asked by, by parents to me. You are not submitting a physical letter of recommendation. You just need to update the details of the person who will be filling or who would be writing the letter of recommendation. Okay, so you would require the first name and the last name, relationship with the recommender. You would require the email address, recommender organization, recommender designation, phone number, and how long you know the recommender. For example, if it's your counselor, you would be mentioning the counselor's organization, which would be the school name. Recommender designation, whatever the designation, the counselor would have in the school. If it's a counselor, she would mention counselor. How long the recommender is and how long the counselor knows you. This is how basically the letter or the letter of recommendation details for the recommender would be filled. Other relevant details which will be required is where have you, it's just a little survey which they have done where they want to understand where you have heard about, Ashoka University, if you have attended any Ashoka, YSP program, any Ashoka Horizon, or have you applied for Ashoka University before. I know a lot of students who are in the second year and want to take a chance. So if that is the case, make sure you are selecting the options. And if you do yes, make sure you are updating the correct information with the drop down which would be provided to you. The form is lengthy, but it is very self-explanatory, and it is definitely will be easier for you when it comes to the options which you would get. Post this, you would provide information in regards with, if there is any kind of a disciplinary action, anything which is, unethical or been arrested. So whatever the right information which is there, make sure you are selecting the right information and give a little bit more details with 100 words and provide proper documents for the same. And with this, we move to the preference aspect. I have not selected the preference when I was filling the registration, but here you would be able to select the preference. There are 3 preferences. Again, at the start of the form filling, when I mentioned that look out for something, if you're not sure what is your preference, look out what exactly you are inclining. Okay, speak to a mentor for guidance. Where exactly your inclination is, whether it is economics or finance, whether it is English or media studies, just make sure that you're selecting where you are inclining the most to in priority, which is your preference 1, 2, and 3. Once that is done, they want to understand about more personal details. If there is any kind of disability, any mental health, physical health, any language assistance you need. Firstly, Ashoka, University do encourage students, if you feel that your English is not that great and you really want support from them, this particular section will provide you that. Once you fill that particular section, if you are selected, Ashoka University, make sure that you are called a week before in the campus, and there are classes held, making sure that you get that assistance which is required. Make sure you're updating the information in 100 word and the relevant documents to support whatever options you are selecting. Post this, we would be talking about, the form is talking about any, learning disability, or if you have any, any impairments, any physical, disability here. That's what the section is talking about. You need to select the right one which is applicable to you, give 100-word information, and make sure you attach a proper document. This is the section just before we submit the form. Go through this complete information, which will be giving you details of what we have already discussed in terms of your, in terms the form. So before the start of the form, I have taken you through all the details. However, if there is a doubt, go to the website, get the information checked, or you can connect with me, you can comment, and we'll be more than happy to help you. And last is when you agree to all the information and you submit the application with that particular button, and with this the application gets submitted. Thank you so much for seeing the form filling video till the end. If you need support for your application, you can always comment on the section, or you can DM us on Instagram. We'll be more than happy to assist you. Thank you so much. All the best. Bye bye.